here.
Here comes the Chuckus.
The Chuckus. The COVID?
No, it's a Chinese Ruckus.
Oh.
Ice Bear. I wonder where they come up with this name. Roll it in there right behind the Z in front of that light. The gas tank is leaking.
Figure, you see how far it is? That ear's still coming up. I feel like it just needs...
Wow, the plugs even look the same as the Ruckus. Copycats. Yeah, it's just a little fuel level sensor. It tells you how much gas is in there. It's got a thing under it. When you did it first, did you kind of like pry up on it before you figured out how it went?
It come so loose off that gold part.
Right off the bat it was that loose?
Yeah, like how you just pulled it off is how I pulled it off.
Wow. Because see, this looks like it's bent up a little bit. See how that one's down? To kind of hold it down? I think we're probably just going to bend that down and then put it back together. Yeah, so see how this has got that hole under there? This one you can actually bend. I tried pushing these. They're pretty sturdy because they're welded on both sides. This one's just got that one tack weld. So it was just bent up a little bit. I think this is going to take care of it. Oh yeah, that's way better. I'm going to use my tool as a hammer after all. There we go. Okay, now.
Used to, you just barely go that way.
Good.
It's pouring out.
All right, so we got that fixed. Now, so I thought you had drained it, and you were saying that, what'd you drain?
Pulled that.
So you drained this through already?
Yeah, and I drained it out of this little gray box that's underneath this screw right there.
Hate that they put that on there. This is that piece everybody buys for the Ruckuses. I guess the Ice Bear just puts it on from the factory. Looks like you got silicone in there with it. Fire up right away. You're gonna have to spin on it for, you know, for a minute because, oh shit. You're gonna have to spin on it longer than that. Like, you don't have enough battery to spin on it long enough is what I'm saying. Yep. Take your cover off, get your cables. Just washers, just stacked up here. There's 3 washers. Back to back. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. It's like 3 washers just stacked up here. It won't stay running.
Yeah.
But it'll stay running if you're driving it?
If you're on throttle? Yesterday I put the jump box on it. It did that. I let it sit, try to get that, see if that 97 would run through. I put it back on there. As soon as I started driving, it killed. I put it back on there, try to let it sit longer than that, and then it kept doing this over and over again.
So if you let it sit for a minute or two, it'll crank up and run, but then if you try to go anywhere with it,
if I were to take these off, it wouldn't even go, I don't think, right now.
Are you giving it any gas at all, any throttle? Hold the brake while you do it. Okay, hold that.
Does this not look like it should be bolted somewhere other than sitting in here like this?
Yeah, it's supposed to be bolted.
To here.
Probably.
That's what I told the guy in Louisiana. He said that it was bolted like that. he went and looked for a nut and some screw, but he didn't have any. He said he got this bike. I got the title. It's been a minute. So as soon as he bought it, he had to get back surgery. So it's been sitting up in his shop, and he would just go out and crank it. He said once a week, maybe.
No, he didn't. That's why we're here tonight, doing this.
Just calling that guy a big fat liar.
Yeah, huh?
Liar! Liar! Liar!
Get back, witch!
You know what? He's been in it. Look. That's exactly what I was talking about, because you don't use a JIS on it. It makes teeth on it. He's been in it.
Okay, I ain't touched nothing
Right.
with that.
Yeah, I know you hadn't been in the carburetor, but somebody's been in it. To the intake.
So
You can
someone's been
see,
in
yeah,
there.
somebody had the wrong, they had a Phillips head instead of a JIS, and they kind of rounded it out a little bit. It's probably why it's idling high too. This screw here was set too high. Here, see that gas in there? It had like a couple of drops just chilling in there. So what's happening is something inside the carburetor's not working right. Oh shit. Yeah, I'm opening it up.
Okay.
I was gonna go put it on a table somewhere, and then I realized I don't really have a good work table. Oh shit.
If you'd like to donate to the Super Freestyle Show and give Jeff a good work table, please message
Look
him
at
on
this.
Instagram.
This is a problem. It has security breakaway screws. Okay, so first we have to make sure that we have screws to go back in it. And I don't know how I'm gonna get that one out of there. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to drill him out, to be honest. I think he got this far and realized that and then sold it to you. So what I'm worried about is that these screws might be too long. And if I drill those out, I don't want to leave him without a way to use his bike. Do they all go? Yeah, they all go through, so it doesn't matter if they're too long. 2017.
2017 Ice Bear.
Yeah.
Working on your 2017 Ice Bear.
So I'm not sure if this is for every year or for every one of these China clones of the Ruckus, but apparently they have breakaway security bolts on the bowl of the carburetor. And the factory, like I have bolts off of a factory Honda carb, they thread right back in there. You can see these are broken off. So once you tighten them, once they're all the way tight, the head breaks away and then it's completely done. This is supposed to be non-serviceable, which is dumb to me, but
Because all
So-
carbs have to be serviceable.
I just took a punch, made a mark, drilled a pilot hole, and used this little back out to extract the original one. And we're just gonna put Honda ones back in it once we get done cleaning it. So now this bike will be serviceable where it wasn't before.
Cool. Now let's see. Use your tools as hammers, kids.
I do it on a regular basis. You guys probably already noticed that by now, though. I'm pretty sure in every episode I'm using a wrench or something
Someone's
as a
gonna send
hammer.
you a little
It's
hammer
not.
set.
I don't know if it's deep enough. I think it is. Yeah, it is. There we go. Just got to put a little pressure downward so
Toward
it
the
can
bite.
get in there. Yeah, I don't know if I got exactly the right size drill bit, but
Money. No pun intended on the queso, was that?
Yeah, I said, okay, so now we're moving to the next one. In my
Okay,
head, I was
so.
like, okay, so. And I was like, no pun intended on the queso.
So in your head, you're funnier than you are in real life.
I'm not funny. You know those memes where they're talking about the tap and die set? Ladies, if you walk out and your man's got these out, just walk away quietly. The tap and die, man, that never intimidates me. These are the ones. If these are out, you got extra trouble. You better take care of your man that night.
I mean, so extractor set.
Yeah, that's when things are
Not
getting
tap and die,
serious.
when you got an extractor.
Tap and die means there's something left.
Right.
Extractor means shit's bad. Shit's bad. In this case, it means we're modifying an ice bear. I just like saying ice bear. Who names this? Who names their scooter company Ice Bear? You know, like, because the trend, all of it's here. The disc brakes, the alloy wheels, the GY6 150cc, all the pieces, the low seat, the stitching, the way the seat's done. Like, this is every cookie cutter thing that people would normally do to a Ruckus. Even the kickstand, and it's just straight welded on. Like, this is all the stuff. Straight handlebars, clamp, mirrors, speedo, like, they nailed it. And then they named it Ice Bear.
Which was just like the icing on the cake.
It's the icing on the bear.
What I want to know is, what's the difference between an ice bear and a polar bear?
I don't know.
Am I right though?
You just got a little corrosion in there. See the trash in the bottom? There's probably some sediment that flew up and got one of those jets.
Zoom in on that. Oh, nasty.
9 times out of 10, people will like replace these seals. It's really best to just leave them in place, put it back on. I only replace it if it's leaking when I put it back together. But that's pretty common practice for people that are working on carburetors. They know better than to fool with them, because you get a replacement seal, it's usually really cheap quality. Not that this one was high quality to begin with. But brake clean is what most people would try to spray this out with. It doesn't do a good job of breaking it down, especially when it's got that caramel colored film, which is common for older carburetors. This one doesn't have. But if you use purple power and a toothbrush, that's usually what I clean them with, just purple power and a toothbrush, even in the bottom of here. And it usually takes care of all of it.
Is that a jet?
Yeah, this is the main jet here. It's pretty clean. Got some track, yeah, look. So that jello looking, that silicone looking stuff that was coming out, see that little residue of it right there? It was stopping these jets on the side up, and that's where it pulls the fuel through. It's almost like somebody just packed this with silicone.
How do you think that stuff got in there?
Probably had ethanol fuel in it, and ethanol fuel gels up after 4 to 6 weeks, depending on what grade it is. But it just gels up.
The guy texted on Facebook about the bike, told me to put 87 through here. So I put the 87 through.
I'm just using that light back there to look through. I just need to be able to see the light through the holes, because they're really tiny. Like if you were trying to look down in there, you can't tell whether they're clear or not. But if you hold it up to light, if you can see the light through it, then you know the passage is clear, which they weren't to begin with, but it is now. Oh shit. Everything's clean now, we're just putting it back together. I do have to clean the bowl, but the carburetor itself's clean. We'll clean that part last. Putting the fuel line on here, and I'm gonna get the carburetor back in place. Try to. I think I might go ahead and hook the throttle cable up too. It's actually got a bigger port on the pump than it does the T, and this is probably like this factory, but that was a vacuum leak. That could be a contributing factor here. I'm going to take that spring clamp off and just put a zip tie so it's nice and snug. But I am surprised to see with this Chinese carburetor that there actually is a name brand Mikuni fuel pump. This is a vacuum operated fuel pump, so it's not electronic. It just uses vacuum from the carburetor, from the engine, to siphon the pump up from the tank, since the tank's lower than the carburetor. Great now.
Yeah.
Sick.
He's outside already.
Ice bear.
It's not so icy once it's warmed up, huh?
It's got some ice going on to it.
Got some
It
steez.
does.
Cool.
It's cool that they put the rear fender on it. That's the number one thing about having like a stretch Ruckus with a GY6 swap, is there's not a good fender option that'll like cover your back.